everybody. It's your boy Raven, and well, we have had like a super interesting 2 weeks. Again, my apologies for not having a tarot video this week or at all this past. Well, it's been one this month. I'm just gonna say that one this month, mainly because I've just been busy. Like real life is still kind of taking me away from this, and there are days where I want to relax. A lot of things have been hitting my desk lately, and among them, let me see, I completely closed this out for some reason. I don't remember what it was I closed out. Now I remember. Remembering stuff live on stream, isn't that fun? And wow. So a couple of things have popped up recently. Number one, we'll start with what was most recent, the 10-cent D&D thing. Apparently, and I largely kind of chimed in where it was just I thought it was necessary because everybody else was covering it, so I was like, I don't need to. So I just kind of gave my take on it because many people were kind of freaking out, and I was like, okay. I wasn't worried, mainly because to me, D&D as a property is dead. I got my books. I'll play those supplements and games that I have. If I buy anything, made for 5e, it's going to be converted to Castles and Crusades. But it has to be something I'd really, really be super interested in, because quite honestly, let's face it, nah. All right, let's see what we got. Supply them with endless distractions and propaganda. They'll never notice what's really happening outside. Boy, isn't that true? We'll definitely get to that. But as much as I never wanted this to happen, it did. We all know that recently Janelle Jacquays, I think I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. So forgive me if the pronunciation is off. But Janelle Jacquays, the author of the widely loved Caverns of Thracia and the Dark Tower, I think that was a D&D, wasn't it? Or was it original D&D? I cannot remember. It's still kind of early. I have not had my tea yet. I just put the kettle on. And anyway, she passed away from Guillain-Barré syndrome, which, as I understand it, that's pretty rough. We all knew she was in the hospital for it, and now she passed away before getting to see her creation reincarnated for Dungeon Crawl Classics and our audience of today. That was upsetting news already. And then we had a little controversy where over here at let me see, here, I'm going to pull this up. Keep in mind, everyone, that, here we go, the Alexandrian.net. And if you're not familiar, this is Justin Alexander's. This is Justin Alexander's blog, which later got turned into a book. And he advertises that book here. So you want to be a game master. And somewhere on here, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. A second historical note on Xandering the dungeon. In 2023, after discussions with Janelle Jacquays, the title of Jacquaying the dungeon was changed to Xandering the dungeon. And here's the historical note that he did. Summer of 2010, I wrote an article now titled Xandering the Dungeon. It wasn't That wasn't the original title of the article, nor the original term I coined to describe both the process of creating a nonlinear dungeon and the properties of a nonlinear dungeon. The original term was jaquaying, which Janelle spoke up, wanting him to add the S at the end of her name. This was, yeah, here it is. First, she wanted to change. She didn't like the term drop the S. That wasn't a problem. I'd made those changes based on that experience, though I knew that making this change would not be a quick or easy process. It took weeks of effort, followed by months of extra work to make sure all the metadata had been properly scrubbed on the site. So basically what he had done was I think let's say, what was it here? Yeah. So in any case, he changed it to Xandering the dungeon, which described non-linear dungeons and dungeon design. Awkward, considering what is going on. Caverns of Thracia was an adventure. Here we go. For fantasy role-playing games, published by Judges Guild in 1979. So that was like a year after I was born. Compatible with Dungeons and Dragons. Judges Guild was one of the original third-party sources. Okay, there we go. And if you don't know Janelle's work, or if you're not familiar with this name, I'm going to tell you right now, you're familiar with her work. She did levels for Quake. I think she might have done levels for Doom. She also ported Pac-Man from the arcade cabinet to home consoles and computers. So if you ever played Pac-Man at home, she's the reason why. Trust me, you are familiar with her work. She is influential in game design. However, I don't think on this channel that we'll be calling that Xandering a dungeon ever. And yeah, that was a bit of controversy where I came across it on Dungeons and Discourse. So Discourse Mini's channel, and I saw the title and I went, oh boy. And when I saw what it was she was presenting, I was like, no, fuck, we don't need this shit right now, because we had we've had some other issues. Other issues have popped up. I don't know if anyone's really noticed this lately, but I'm going to talk very openly, very candidly about this. What comes next is super important. We need to start paying attention to this. These diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, they're all failing. Every one of them. One by one, the dominoes are just starting to fall. We can see it. It's happening left and right. We're just being to this point here, we're being distracted. There's every attempt to distract us from this. It's not going to work. The weapons of mass distraction will not work. Behind these initiatives are investment banks and grifters. Plain and simple. These are not the good guys. However, point this out, and suddenly you get labeled a bad guy. There's been an ongoing discussion on my Twitter feed, which is now closed. And that discussion was over the female Space Marines we talked about 2 weeks ago. And that discussion for me is over. It's not in that book. It has never been part of that book. And you know what? I'm going to say this, Mac. You're absolutely right. It was always going to fail. They're a tiny little fraction of society. Division and chaos is always the point. I won't disagree with you. Not one bit. Not one bit. But we found that the one running Facebook's, I'm just going to call it what it is. Diversity, inclusion, and equity die. That's what they do. That's what these programs do. They die. And she was laundering money right back into her own pockets. And note, she was getting the biggest. She was getting the lion's share of it. It was not being distributed equally. Rules for me, not for thee, or rules for thee, not for me, I suppose. And then this female Space Marine argument has been going on One of our former guests, I won't name them because I won't give them any more kind of advertisement. Went on to continuously post threads. This was the people involved were me, Dinosaur Woman, and Servant of Shiloh over at the RPG Elite channel. Because I did tag him in just saying, hey, this is one of his videos. And he's done a series of these videos on race and tabletop RPGs. And he and I have a definite agreement on a point. And that is, if you've fallen for that, you've fallen for the okie doke. Just plain and simple. Tabletop RPGs were one of the most diverse and inclusive. It was never equitable. The equity in it, in terms of outcome, was always the same. We all got to have fun on the weekend. We all got to have fun on that one day of the month, or that one weekend or month, or maybe every weekend. If you were fortunate enough to play it, we all enjoyed ourselves. That was it. That was about as equitable as it got. Didn't matter what color you were, didn't matter where you were from, didn't matter how bad at math you were. You were still welcome if you wanted a game. Seems like one of the things that's come up lately is a point of I told you so, where it's been tourists coming in. Oh no, this has to change. Oh no, that has to change. Oh no, it doesn't. Let us stop you right here. And when it didn't change, when the rumors became something else, we started seeing another thing happen. Now, I'd like to thank Grim Jim for pointing this out. He did an entire 2-hour live stream on this one. I'm not going to go through this myself, but I will share this because it's the thing that's occurring right now, as a matter of fact, is that a light is being shed on this. Let's see. We only discriminated against orcs, but they don't count because they're fictional, of course. I don't know. Fictional. I just came across an episode of the Y-Files that was recently posted in the last couple of weeks where they talked about Neanderthal man and how humans were nearly hunted to extinction by them. And if you get the descriptions, yeah, these things were just about like orcs. I'm not kidding. These things were brutal. But as a matter of fact, I am the Dr. Cleo Weissman article, which I'll be sharing here in just a second. I'm gonna pull that up for everyone to see. We'll kind of go through it, but we're not gonna go through the whole thing. The worst people you have never met, or what I learned during a 4-year academic study of online harassment in the D&D community. This is an hour-long read, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest you read it. I'll be putting the link in the description below. I really set all this up very last minute, mainly because I had the idea and I thought that I had originally actually set this up beforehand, and I did not. And I didn't share the link out, and oops. So if everyone would do me a favor and just share that out, that would be great. I would definitely appreciate it. Let's get some more people in here. You know what? I even want the people who hate my guts right now in here, because they're about to learn a very, very harsh lesson. And I'll be sharing that lesson in just a minute. But here it is. And what this comes down to is certain things about this article have come to light. Number one, this was posted and taken down the very day it was posted. Number two, the people that are involved in this article, the ones who said things like, let's see, I'm going to quote these people directly. It's so easy and it feels good. Like the horrible thing that people don't like to admit is that fucking being justified and getting stuck in. It feels good. It's like you're some sort of you're charged with some sort of duty to remove the bad person or whatever. And anyone who says that doesn't feel good's fucking lying. Or they got something else on their mind. It's the same reason young men like fighting or whatever. It feels good to get stuck in. And if you're doing it and you're justified, so many dudes are just waiting for that. Here's another one. There's a lot of vitriol in this goddamn room, to the point that if I were a much heavier person, there's a lot of fucking industrial blackmail and material from it. Because most of these people, all they do is sit in there is shit talk other people I've worked with. And it's just a toxic environment. I definitely contributed to that. Another one. Look, most of these people are used to fucking hate mobbing. I'm not trying to say it's right. I'm just trying to say if you're under the age of 25, your primary experience on the internet has been a kid to a schoolyard fight in which someone rings a bell and says, okay, if you're a leftist, get over here. And if you're interpolated by that, you run over there. Conflict is common because, right, on some level, and we all don't like admitting to this, but you're gonna. A lot of our ideological conflicts are over resources. We don't like talking about that because really the reason that a lot of us think that certain people are bad is because they make money that we think should be in our pocket. It's not the most noble reason. No shit. Just a few of the quotes from these people. And audio was included. One of the things we learned was that audio was not supposed to be included. Those were just part of the notes. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot like that. It does read like an alphabet mafia soap opera. It does. Unfortunately, people were destroyed by this. And another thing we learned, Daniel Fox, where the hell was he in all this? Goodness knows he went out of his way to harass and sent his little sycophants to harass Warhammer Fantasy fans. Spammed their forums with his Zweihander game, which I'll be honest, I took a look at, and I don't know what. I'm not sure why, but I put it right back on the shelf after I was done flipping through it. It just didn't connect with me. Yeah. Sometimes that little voice in the back of your head will tell you, not worth it. So, we've seen that. Now, my take on it was a bit different, because one of the things that Dr. Weissman pointed out was, in her years of dealing, say what you want about violent offenders I interviewed during my days working in the prison system, they at least had reasons. I'm going to go on record by saying, in my 8 years of working in a prison, they all had reasons. I would go as far as saying that they rationalized what they did. A lot of them. Some of them, and everyone loved to tell their story, which is why 75% of them are in there right now. They love to tell their story, good, bad, or indifferent. And every one of them uses a rationalization. But when you break down that word, you understand exactly what's going on. Rational lies. They're lying to themselves, they're lying to you, and they're lying to everyone else involved. And that's what their entire little kingdom was built on. And personally, this is just my take on it. I know some of you are tired of hearing about it after only a week. This needs to be talked about a lot more by a lot more people. It needs to be understood, and it needs to be a little bit internalized so that we recognize this. Because, and I want to go back to this for just a moment, Cal, the satanic panic sucked the joy out of gaming for a lot of people. But there's something that I don't think you're catching. For some of us, that was the only way to get out of it. These moral panics keep popping up somehow, and I'm not trying to play victim here. I'm just trying to show you something. Somehow I keep getting, me and those around me, we're all the bad guys. That's why that's what I'll get to that comment in just a second there, Cal. But we're all the bad. I hate to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, we're all the bad guys. We might as well accept that. If that's what counts as the good guys, I don't want to be one, ever, for any reason. Those people are horrible. They're despicable, and I know the light keeps shifting. That's because it clouds outside. 1 minute it's sun's out, next minute it's almost dark out there. But a former guest, still embroiled into this thing, revealed their true colors and ended the discussion with me with "fuck you and your table. I don't feel safe there." And they call us fragile people. They called us fragile. Just remember that. Ironic. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't feel safe sitting around a table playing with your friends, with the biggest threat to you being the food at the table, I mean, let's face it, all that salt from those pretzels, that can't be good for you. Sometimes all that beer, it can't be good for you. That is the biggest threat to you at that table. And if you got mental issues, you need to go to your shrink and work those out. Okay? I'm not qualified. We'll go back to something Garibay had to say when he was like, "You should always be checking in." Look, Garibay, I'm no one's fucking shrink, okay? Not qualified. And if I were to do something and something bad were to happen to that person by their own hand because they took my advice, I could be both civilly and criminally on the hook. That goes for all of you watching too. Okay? That's why I want to caution you. Don't be listening to advice like that. It's bullshit. It's terrible advice, and it doesn't help anyone. All right, so, but anyway, the rationalizations being what they are, there was a reason for it all. And with Zach Smith specifically, what happened was he dared to tell them to stop doing this before someone got hurt. Now, look, you may not like Zach. I don't know Zach. But I'm going to say this. If this ever gets back to Zach Smith and he wants to hop on the show and talk about this, well, I'll open the door. I'll let him in. And he can talk all he wants. I'll just give him the floor, and yeah, I'll platform him where others may not have. He's reportedly he's burned his bridges with a lot of people, and that's unfortunate. And that's what made him an easy target. People knew that's what he would do. And when you needlessly make enemies, and this is one of the points I made, when you needlessly make enemies of each other, you find that eventually you don't have anyone to stand with you. No allies, if you will. So growing up during the panic, I'd seen things like that before. I also stated that should you decide that if you can't beat them, you'll join them, nothing you ever do will be good enough. Either way, it's a complete state of misery. As my dad once put it to me, and I'll simplify it here, when nothing you ever do will be good enough, do nothing for them. Now, I'm digressing, obviously, but getting back to the point, yes, there were reasons for this. And this is one of these are a few points I hope Dr. Wiseman gets, because I think they should be considered. So one of the anonymous posters, one of the anonymous people she interviewed, clearly stated that the conflict was common because it's an ideological conflict over resources. Yes, money. So remember when I said that this culture war is interested in you, well, it's especially interested if you can create games. Troll Lord Games was an example. I'm sure we all remember that. And the way it breaks down is this: they were making a game, or let's say I'm making a game, but I don't have the money for art, layout, designers, blah, blah, blah. I need to get it from somewhere. Someone else is succeeding, and I need their customers. And so the easiest thing, not the wisest thing, is to make a name for myself by spreading vicious rumors and lies, getting them so hyped up that eventually enough of that person's customer base just poofs and they're unable to maintain their business, thus driving them out of the industry. I, however, made a name for myself by exposing them. Now that money can come to me instead, in theory. Problem solved. Now, most sane people will just run a Kickstarter or use AI art if you got nothing else. And I don't fault anyone for that. I know some are going to have opinions against that. I don't care. Again, remember, on this stream, we're the bad guys. We don't give a shit. Or even team with a group that has those resources, come to an agreement with them. The point is that there are a great many more productive alternatives to making those games. The problem is that the harassers and the bullies know one thing: their games won't sell without this kind of campaign, without the bullying campaign. And those are designed to make names for themselves at the expense of someone else. Number two, attention economy. Just like I said before, the name has to be made. The quicker, the better. If you're part of a group that gets a big name taken down and you're one of the bigger names in that group that made the most noise, evidence to the contrary be damned, and you can play victim well enough, then you'll have the attention of the audience and you can take full advantage of that. Number three, spite over hurt feels. Well, we've seen that in my Twitter thread lately, or my Twitter feed. Something as simple as an argument, one day, one thing. That can put you in the crosshairs. So the harassers can be shockingly candid about bullying colleagues to keep them in line. Fiona Maeve Geist recounts an argument she had with a former friend and employee at Lamentations of the Flame Princess, an experimentally inclined game company that was first to publish several influential indie designers and artists, which is kind of true. I wouldn't say they're experimentally inclined. I'd say they're more edge inclined, but that's what makes them awesome. By the way, I'll remind me to come back to LOTFP in just a minute. I basically say, like, look, in 3 years, I'm going to buy James's, that's the owner, fucking estate off of him for pennies on the dollar in bankruptcy court, simply as a way to spite him. And you're going to be wondering why the fuck you've supported him right now, which I will also admit reads as a threat because to a degree it was intended as one. Fiona, honey, let me tell you why I support Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Let me tell you why I support James. Because James has been, whether I agree with him on certain things or not, a defender of free speech and very, very eloquent in his approach, even if he is in his books, which I have 10 of them here. Even if he's acting like the tabletop role-playing game equivalent of a Gwar show. Some of us fucking like that, okay? So, apparently she worked on Lamentations of the Flame Princess, Halls of the Blood King by Diogo Nogueira as an editor. And she's worked on development for the game Mothership by Tuesday Night Games. Now, I'm going to say this. I would suggest supporting Lamentations of the Flame Princess. By the way, something everyone needs to know right now, and I'm going to share this out with you. Boo, 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 boo. Bad boo, be bad boo. Here we go. Welcome to the LOTFP US web store. We're running a warehouse clearance sale. Buy one, get one free. No coupon code needed. Cost of the free items will be discounted automatically in the shopping cart, as the cheapest items will be the free ones. There's no limit to the number of items, as many books as you can buy. You can get an equal amount for free. Just put everything you want into the shopping cart and let the system show you the discount. Also, they've discounted a lot of these. So you're talking $25. And this should be in This should not be in pounds, by the way. But $25 for a lot of these books. I think the one with the highest cost was probably about maybe, I don't know, 35, maybe a little bit more, $40 maybe. But you can get all of these. And you know what? Let's just go books 37. Here we are. Booyah. Let's show them all. Let's show 100 of these bad boys. Here you go. Book of Antitheses is still $45. That's gonna be the expensive one. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, that one's worth it. I do like that one. Do Not Accept This Quest, Fecal Lands, Earth Incubation Crisis, Forgive Us, just a ton of them in here. Just a stupid dungeon, you know. The Rules of Magic book, $20. So it's literally buy one, get one free. Everything's on clearance. He has to find he wasn't planning on running he wasn't really planning on running another big sale this year. But his warehouse terminated the contract. So get your ass there, buy some fucking books, you cheapskate. I did. I don't know how. I think I might have bought like 6 or 7 books. And if I can possibly purchase a couple more, I'm gonna. I did finish out my Adventure Anthology series. I finally got Adventure Anthology Death. There were a couple others I want. I will probably have to go through the Lamentations Euro store to get Death Frost Doom. And I know Zach worked on that one too. So, but I would say support Jim here. He needs our help. And Mothership, and that if you have Old School Essentials, Halls of the Blood King looked really cool, so I bought it. Now I find out who I know Diogo worked on it. I've never had any interactions with him. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, get down to that. We'll put a link to that in the description below as well. But let's see what else we got. Garibay has more red flags than most women of dating age. I'd say Garibay is a walking red flag. I have on numerous occasions shown him to be a phony. I don't think Garibay has read a single book he claims to own. I have yet to see him owning a single, even 5th edition core books. I've never seen it. I've never seen him holding one or one on his shelf. I've never seen a shelf. He's always just running around with that soy face, driving around in his car. And I'm talking about, why do these people have to live so close to me? I feel my IQ being sucked away. Anyway, Garibay has been shown to be lying a lot. And white and straight, yep, that's really all it takes now. I'm white, bald, straight, and southern. Guess what? I guess I might as well be wearing a white hood. All right. So they're intentionally ruining anything that draws people into communities. I saw the outturn of outrage at Gamergate and Occupy Wall Street. Scare the powers that be, so fracture the communities. Yep. Why in the car? So his wife doesn't know. I thought you were talking about Carcosa for a minute. That's another one I do recommend. It's a very interesting Lamentations book. I do recommend Carcosa if you want to grab that one. As a matter of fact, the ones I do recommend, Book of Antitheses, Fermentum Nigrum here, I'll pull it down. Shit. Because I can't pronounce it. Yeah, I keep getting it and then I keep losing it. This one. I do recommend this one. It's a good adventure. Satan really doesn't even factor into this one. It's just it's actually about a beer. It's more of an investigatory thing. As a matter of fact, I got 3 books back to back here. So Jim fixed the problem. When we were talking on the show a while back. So Book of Antitheses, definitely recommend that one. This one, if you just want more variants of the magic missile spell that basically make the wizard kind of self-harm a little bit. And then this one. So I do recommend them. And of course the imagery and iconography are just there to kind of be a little bit in your face. And honestly, there's a couple other supplements I recommend. Carcosa being one of them, especially if you're into Lovecraftian type stuff like I am. But there is one I'm going to recommend. Adventure anthologies are just kind of like the books that keep on giving. So if you want those, that's cool. This one, I do recommend this. There's nothing edgy about this book. This book is it's a lot of maps, a lot of them. Just maps on maps of different buildings. The Staffordshire Trading Company works of John Williams. This one is excellent. I do recommend it, and it has one of these like Tartarian structures mapped out on the front. And then one more I'll recommend. Towers 2. This one, remember when I said Gwar, this one was written by Dave Brocky and Joe Bittman, who also did work on the Book of Antitheses. I love. It was kind of hard to track that one down, and I think I had to order that. That was the first book I ordered directly. Worth it. Definitely worth it. So grab yourself some books. Now's a good time. The sale runs through February 20th. You will not want to miss it, because once the sale is over, it is over, ladies and gentlemen. And if you miss this one, you're gonna be beating yourself up pretty hard about it. I just gotta get these books back in here. I take books down, I start to put them back, and it shoves more books back, and I'm like, shit. My little bit of OCD tends to act up there. Anyway. But Fiona Maeve Geist, yes, she did work with Jim. She worked, I think and from the article, this is what I'm gathering happened. Someone offended her. She went to Jim, told him. Now, I could be wrong, and Jim can feel free to correct me. She went to him and demanded that they be fired, and he was like, what? Over an argument? What's wrong with you? And then she went on a crusade to, be a little tyrant to him too. And of course, that's what leads us here to this very moment. She's going to buy his estate in bankruptcy court. I'm sure you will, honey. What are you going to buy? What are you going to buy? His apartment in Finland? Okay. It just shows you these people are vengeful. They're petty. They're spiteful. They're just doomed to a life of. I think Mr. Miyagi said it best. He's like, someone like Kreese, for example. For them, living's a far worse punishment. So James became the target. It's not the first time he's become a target, nor is it the first time people within the industry have turned on him. One of his own employees had been fired from another job at Leyland Press for merely working with him, if you recall. Led to an appearance on my bi-weekly Saturday morning live streams that coincided with a sale on his sites. The point being, however, that guilt by association is a very real thing, and it can be over something very trivial. They also did it for funsies. We just quoted that little bit right there. Nope, not even kidding. Someone will just do it for the fun of it. Those are the people, in my opinion, they're the absolute most evil. They're doing it not because they think they're entitled to your resources, not only because they're seeking attention, though perhaps they are, or because they even know you have anything remotely resembling a disagreement with you. It's because to them, this is fun, and they're more than happy to absolutely and completely destroy you because someone else told you to do it, or told them to do it without evidence or anything to back it up that it was a good idea. Yeah, those are the reasons. And that's what I hope Dr. Weissman understands. Those were the reasons that were posted in that article. The audio wasn't supposed to make it. It did. All of it got released. We have it all. The Whisper Network has been exposed. The DEI initiatives are failing. Businesses who continue to adopt them are failing. They're hurting financially because DEI is not about actual diversity, inclusion, or equity. It's about how the company looks on those balance sheets. Simple as that. Also, let's talk a little bit about companies that do that. Recently, a company came into a politician's crosshairs for closing stores. Nothing you ever do will be good enough. I'm sure we all know what I'm talking about. Ayanna Pressley. Calling Walgreens racist for shutting down stores that have had nothing but theft happen. Forgot they were a business? When you got mobs of people running into one location and just stripping them of everything, what are they going to sell? How are they going to pay the bills? How are they going to keep the lights on? What are they going to do? They're going to shut it down. They're cutting their losses. They're getting the hell out of there. The place is unsafe. It's genuinely unsafe. It's unsafe for the employees who have now lost their jobs. If you sign on to those initiatives as a business, you will, not you may, you will be victimized. And you will just allow it to happen. Those are the rules. Simple as that. So when it came down to these disagreements over, kind of bringing it back full circle from the Twitter, when our former guest decided to say "fuck you and your table," I don't feel safe there. You don't feel safe because we're not allowing you to play Sisters of Battle, dude. Really? We're the bad guys. I'm good with that. I've been the bad guy for 30 fucking years. Doesn't matter what side of the argument I'm on. I want limited. I'm talking limited to the point of, nigh. What's the word I'm looking for? When they're unable to do anything. Nigh ineffective government. Basically, is just figureheads that can't really do much. I want me out of your life. I want you out of mine. Live and let live. Leave each other alone. I'm the bad guy for that. Okay. I was the bad guy for playing D&D back in the day, Cal. To your point. Yep. Pariah Unite. Hey, you know what? Share, Max, share this video out with that. Pariah Unite. Say hello to the bad guys. Yeah. I gotta say this. Once these people have decided you're gonna be a bad guy, just fucking own it. Let's look at a movie villain that I think or movie villain for the 90s that I think we can all agree was presented as the bad guy. Lestat, the one played by Tom Cruise. He was the antagonist in that movie. He was the antagonist in the first book. Guess what? He was that way because he owned what he was. He wasn't going to change it for Louis. He wasn't going to change it just because someone else was uncomfortable. And to me and many others, your discomfort is your problem. Plain and simple. Once these people made up their minds you're the bad guy, that you will spend an eternity trying to prove them wrong, trying to do what they tell you. And that was his thing. No, you don't understand. You have to stop being the bad guy. It didn't take long for me to goad that out of him. And guess what? My response was no, absolutely not. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Here's the lesson that many need right now. And this is what makes me the bad guy. I don't know about you. Your table, your rules, always in all ways. So if someone's telling you you have to play by every rule to the letter in the book, tell them get fucked. Get fucked, stay fucked. It's that simple. You have to believe as I do. Get fucked, stay fucked. Just own it. There's nothing else you can do. Go find your other bad guys. Bad guy by whose standards? That's exactly what I'm saying. Once someone else figures you to be the bad guy, just fucking own it. Step into it. You Nazi, well, Sig Heil, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You know. And who decided they get to make the standard? You know what? Speaking of standards, I'd like to go on record as saying, if it weren't for double standards, these motherfuckers wouldn't have any at all. Those goalposts will continue to move. You know what? And here's something that I wanted to bring up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I want to hop onto something that we kind of enjoy here. Blah, blah, blah. So let's see. Let's go to my profile real quick. I did a post a few days ago, actually a couple days ago. It was I made a little run to the comic book shop with a friend of mine. And I was just showing him this place for the first time. He really seemed to enjoy the place. Here we go, right here. This puts a smile on my face, and you'll see why in just a minute. Tom Cruise Lestat was so wimpy. Anne Rice had Roy Batty, Rutger Hauer in mind when she wrote the book. Okay, now I can kind of see that. But I'll say this. I thought, and Anne Rice initially did not like the idea of Tom Cruise playing Lestat until she saw him play him, and then she was like, okay, that works. Not hard to label someone a bad guy when they think anyone that thinks different from them is a fascist. That is true. That is very true. When they act like the fascists themselves. Again, if it weren't for double standards, they wouldn't have any at all. Yeah, here we go. My comic book shop haul. This was a special day for me because first thing I found. Now, Joe and I have talked about this comic book for a while. I did not get issue number 1. I think there's some gaps in this. In fact, I know there's some gaps in this. But Darkhold was one that I enjoyed because it was so out there and not many people knew anything about it, despite throwing Doctor Strange in there, Sabretooth, the Punisher, Scarlet Witch, stuff like that. This was even Morbius, and there was the Rise of the Midnight Suns line that included this title. Love this title. It was so weird that I absolutely just enjoyed it. And I only read maybe 1 or 2 issues as a kid. Then there was this. I got a couple issues of Thor here. I just kind of saw them. I liked the arts on the cover, so I bought them. 3 of the Executioner Song titles here from that crossover, including the very first one. These are still sealed, by the way. Lazarus Risen, I got that because I'm a fan of the Lazarus books. Those were really good. I also have the tabletop role-playing game. Terminal Drift I bought because I did have one of the issues. I don't know whether it was issue 2 or 3. but this is one that kind of got God and technology ass backwards, and reads as a very cautionary tale. I'm seeing a lot of what was a lot of the subject matter from Terminal Drift happening today. Union I got because I wanted to read this as a kid. I never got to. I saw this one. I was like, there it is. Slash Maraud. I saw this advertised when I was a kid in the back of a comic book. I thought it looked really cool. The artwork for the ad was really dark and edgy, and the character of Slash there, he's kind of grizzled, and he was pulling a gun out of his jacket, and there was a scene happening behind him. He was getting ready to start shooting. Boy, is that one 80s, and if you're a Chalt fan, you will love that particular title. I found all 6 issues for $1. Thank you, Bill. And finally, I did pick up an issue of Conan the Barbarian, part of the new series. I only got issue number 6 so far, but there's a trade paperback coming out with issues 1 through 4, and I'm probably going to pre-order it. Actually, you know what? It's going to be here in about 11 days. It's going to be available in about 11 days. So I'm probably going to grab that. I really don't have any more room in the box that I have. I need to get a long box for it. So my comic book collection is kind of growing again. And it's just, there's some titles I still haven't read yet, but yeah. Everybody, I think this is I think this one by Titan here is one that someone had said, this is the Conan we wanted. And if we don't buy it, there won't be one. I'll be honest with you, with this particular issue, Starlight, this particular issue, I opened it up to the first page and I was showing it to a friend and I pointed it and I said, that's Queen of the Black Coast. It's unmistakable. Barely even got to read the words. So I haven't read through this one yet. I still need to bag and board that one. But so far, Bill, my guy at the comic book shop, says everyone who bought it loved it. I'm gonna go with that. Just plenty of good stuff in there. Love Conan and almost all his incarnations. I'm pretty much on board because I'll be honest, I even love the movie with Momoa in it. I love that one. I don't consider it canon, but it's a good movie to sit down and watch. I enjoyed that one. I love the Schwarzenegger films. I really wish they had made a third one. I'm kind of hoping they don't now. I think Arnie's a little too old. But if they ever do make a King Conan, which I doubt they will now, I still remember watching the commentary. For some reason, I just enjoyed the commentary tracks. I don't know why. But I was watching the commentary tracks for just for background information, trivia on the movie. And the whole time it was director John Milius and Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting there watching this movie and commenting on it. And Arnold kept saying, I'm just waiting for you to write the third one. I'll see. When I was in the Navy in the early 2000s, I got the Dark Horse ones. I missed those. But there is a complete collection that Bill is selling. It's something like $70. I wanted it, but I was like, it's a little out of my price range right now. Skip Marvel because Marvel, but I'm not a comic person. I was a weeb in the 90s, so mostly manga instead of comic books. Yeah, I mean, manga's still going very, very well. Good fantasy movie, just no Conan. Love the 1982 film, same. Arnold was the best. First Flick was my fave. Pretty cool. Best listening to that soundtrack for 40 years. Yep. I still do occasionally. Pull it up on Spotify and just let it roll. Conan the Barbarian is my favorite Arnold film, even more than Total Recall and Predator. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of a fan of the Terminator myself. I think that was his most iconic character. He really stepped into that one. They ruined it when they tried to franchise it out for modern audiences. That just did not sit well with me. Though I'm going to say the only reason that I was lukewarm on the third film. The third film was just kind of a rehash, really. That fourth film, though, that was a good one. I enjoyed that one. I did like Salvation. I really wish I would have taken off more from that one. Predator is amazing. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Yeah, I just found that out yesterday. Oh my goodness. Losing Carl Weathers was probably one of the hardest things I've yeah. Carl Weathers being gone, from all accounts, one of the nicest guys you could meet. I had no idea he was actually a pro football player before he became an actor. We'll see. I call it the James Cameron effect. Whenever they do a sequel to the James Cameron movie, they destroy the previous film. See Alien 3 and the Terminators. I'm going to express an unpopular opinion here. I thought Aliens was good. Alien 3 was okay. I enjoyed Alien Resurrection, though. Just putting it bluntly. And William O'Connell. Okay. Should have gotten an Oscar nom for Rocky and Rocky 2 and Rocky 4. I think if nothing else, he should have gotten one for Rocky 4. And of course, one of my favorite roles of his, Chubbs. Love Chubbs. Rest in peace, Chubbs. And Ambassador Sarek, the pain in the ass Vulcan from Enterprise. Yeah. I have Enterprise. I loved it. I did not like the theme. Pretty much everyone when I posted that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. People were disagreeing with me quite a bit on the theme song, but I didn't care. I just did not care for that theme. That theme did not sit well with me at all. Don't know what to tell you. Everything else about the show, though, I did thoroughly enjoy. It seemed like a true prequel. The tech was low. We were seeing what things were like in their formative years. I did not like how the series ended. Yep. And you know what? Here's the thing. If you love that theme, that's fine. If you like it, that's fine. I don't care. I just did not care for it. I didn't even know it was a cover to a Rod Stewart song until someone mentioned it. And I was like, what? And apparently there were some other things that were going to be used, but they went with that one. Enterprise is criminally underrated. Yes, that's true. And it was a great show. Yeah, I think so too. I think Deep Space Nine was my favorite out of all of them. Enterprise's last Star Trek. Yep. They rushed the last two seasons into one. I agree. They really did. So we've covered news. I really want to cover something else. I want to let's see if you want to blow your mind. There's a YouTube video where they put the Enterprise to the theme of From Different Strokes and Good Times. Bravo, well done. I gotta see that. I really do. But I do want to point something else out here. I don't know if any of you know this, but I want to bring this up anyway. There we go. I'm going to go over here to thebasicexpert.com. I want to show you something. This is pretty spiffy. I think you're going to like it. I can find the thing. Here we go. Let me share this with you. DB, what's going on? Battling phone, rest high on Crumbs Mountain, Carl Weathers. Yeah. Here we go. I've been kind of discovering a love for this kind of thing. These little zines like this. Crusaders Chronicle, issue number 1. And this is print on demand, so that's why it's $7. But here it is. An essay on solo gaming and low prep games. A dungeon generator, an example dungeon, Mirrors of Tuzan Thune by Robert E. Howard. So speaking of Robert E. Howard, here we go. 32 pages, black and white, and it's a perfect bound digest size. These are very, very small books. I've discovered kind of a love for these kinds of games. These little zine style games, something like. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Nope, that's not it. I must have misplaced this. Oh, looks like I did. Okay. Well, shit. Okay. So, but games that are about like this size, this is just for old school essentials, old school solo. But these little games that are about that size, as a matter of fact, I think I see it. I think I see where I put it. And I'm going to slip this in here. Hopefully I don't knock a whole bunch of stuff back. Yeah, here we go. It's shit. Bear with me, everyone. I thank you for your patience. Here we are. Stuff like this. This will kind of remind you a little bit of Gamma World a bit. War for the Wasteland. So you can actually turn this into like Terminator the RPG if you want. Here we go. Yeah. Really missed Dragon Magazine. I'm going to be honest. Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine, I completely missed. I hear a lot of olds, like we're talking people who might have had a Walden Books or something like that in their immediate area. They had access to it. I did not. Didn't even know Dragon Magazine really existed as something you could get a subscription to back in the day. So, I missed that. And now we've got Crusaders Chronicle. Guess what? Crusaders Chronicle has like 5 issues so far. So this is like issue number 1. And here's the thing. If you join his Subscribe Star, and I recommend you do, you can get Crusaders Chronicle. This is my screen here. He's also working on White Box, which is OD&D with chainmail and all that stuff. There's issue number 4, issue number 3, issue number 2. If you join his Subscribe Star, you get the PDFs absolutely free, and you get the books at cost, and we're talking like $2.50. Just makes sense. I would definitely recommend joining his Subscribe Star. It's not expensive at all. White Box, I feel seen. Very good. I agree on this one. Less is more. Too many bloated games these days. Too many mega dungeons. Everybody wants to design a mega dungeon. No one wants to design just something simple. And I think that's why if you want to include people, you want people to feel included. Let them dip their toes in the water and gradually bring them in. My other suggestion, this is where Servant of Shiloh over at RPG Elite and I agree totally. And I still find myself doing this stupidity. Inviting people to your D&D game instead of asking them, hey, what kind of genres do you like? What kind of movies do you like? What kind of books do you like? And see if you can't, like I've got a setting for just about damn near everything. For those people who like spy and espionage, I have one game, Top Secret. That's it. Top Secret New World Order. That's all I got. So I got Amazing Adventures too. We could probably do something with that, or Savage Worlds, or I got some Universal Systems Genesis. After picking up Genesis and after giving it long, serious consideration, just being straight with you, it's a system I would recommend if you like a toolkit. It's similar to GURPS. Problem is it uses a proprietary dice system. Not gonna lie. That's the only downside, and it's hard as hell to find those dice. I managed to get lucky. I found 2 sets at a gaming shop. I bought both. So spent about, I think, $30 on 2 sets of dice. And honestly, that would not be my go-to. Just for the reasons that I specified just now. But I agree. Too many giant dungeon crawls, too many bloated games. It's time to simplify. Keep it super simple. There you go. Dragon Magazine in the 80s was awesome. Had a subscription, and every month I look forward to that thing coming in the mail. I'll bet for people who were able to get that, it sounds pretty cool. And I also got the first issue of Carcass Crawler for Old School Essentials. That was pretty good. But there's another type of zine game that I really wanted to put forward here. Let's see. Let's see if here it is. Got the link right there. Here we go. Now, let's talk the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about that. Because here it is. Candle, Fantasy Audio Magazine. I picked this one up. It's about $20. I picked this one up. Candle 1 and Candle 2 are there. And yes, get a really nice cassette with it. The music is really good. So not only do they give you a zine with all that optional stuff for your game, they give you a soundtrack. And also picked up another soundtrack, which I don't know. I might get this. Desert Moon of Karth. Now, some friends of the channel, the ones that you've actually heard their music before, because if you listen to my intro and outro, Darkroom, Book of the Black Rose, and Nocturnes and Nightmares are available on cassette and they're available on Bandcamp. I recommend them. Nothing says old school like this. And the Desert Moon of Karth will give you Ennio Morricone vibes from the old spaghetti westerns. So now they're being paired with music, and I think that provides a lot of value for us. They were great. A lot of content from Dragon was eventually put into the core books or modules. Exactly. A lot of Dungeon too. Yep. I used to own most of Dragon and all of Dungeons mags. Wow. If I remember correctly, they're the same as the Star Wars dice. Yes, they are. They are. Hero System is a toolkit that uses D6s. Yeah, okay, so if you want something that a little easier to use, I would say that, because everyone's got D6s. Six-sided dice, they're little cubes. You can't miss them. You know what? Hold that thought. Hold that thought for just a minute. Give me about 30 seconds, okay? I'll be right back. I'm going to show you something when I get back, okay? I'm just going to do a little countdown, and I'll be right back. Here we go. Okay, a couple things. I had to grab a bottle of water because my mouth is dry, but there it is. My big, thick-ass tape deck. And inside right now, I got my Darkroom cassette. I was listening to that on the way home last night. So, and I mean, you can listen to the digital versions of this. You can listen to the digital versions of those albums, but man, nothing. I'm telling you right now, nothing beats that the hiss of that tape. There is one more. Yeah. This pack right here. This is what got me into this. And believe it or not, this looks like so much fun. Skate Wizards. Let's see. I actually have the Dragon CDs with all the back issue. Oh my gosh. Wow. Whew. Man, I would love to have those CDs. I really would. Yes, the Walkman, the Sony Walkman. Yes. I still remember the sounds of that thing opening and shutting. Yeah. And believe it or not, if you don't have a tape deck these days, they are not hard to get. In fact, I went on Amazon just to kind of have a look, see what they had, if anything. And I found out for $35 I could get a tape deck that is Bluetooth enabled. Modern tech with old school sound. You can still get that. Very cool. But this one, Skate Wizards, is just a fun damn read. So with this one, you get a sticker, you get the cassette, you get Skate Wizards, the book, a couple character sheets, which you can just... The Bluetooth tape deck, that sounds blasphemous. I don't know. Because, with it being colder, you kind of have to layer. So you have to, you have to put everything on. You have to put everything on, and then you have to do this dead last. If anyone's wondering why I'm wearing them like this, because if you wear these things like this, you see they just stick out. They're going to get snagged. So apparently, I found out a couple of years ago, this is how earbuds are supposed to be worn. So they stay where they are. And these feel like they fit flush when you do that. Every issue of Dragon and Dungeon are available on the Inebriated Internet Archive. Yeah. I would still love to have those CDs. I'll be honest with you, I'm moving more and more away from digital. Like the books that I ordered from Lamentations come with PDFs, which is great. That's fine. Many of them I already had from my days of buying through drive-through, but here it is. But in any case, I advocate for ownership of physical at whenever possible. And that's a turn for me, because back when I owned a lot of physical, I was kind of getting more into digital because it left a smaller footprint. But there again, my argument is this: as long as you own the file that you purchased, that's fine. The minute you stop owning the file, you're renting. That's not a good thing. Yep, there we go, right there, exactly. Plus, I love the feel of books. I do too. My problem is, where am I going to put them? I love physical books. I have a ton of them. I mean, everything from one side of this desk hutch to the other is all physical books. And now I've got them stacked on top of, the books you got the books that are standing. I got books just kind of like laid up on top of those. So the problem is storing. That's it. Storage. I'm running out. It sucks. Snarling Badger Studios has a zine they put out with mini games. That's pretty cool. If you link me, I'll put them in the description. I hear you. I had to give away most all my third edition because I had to make room. Oh, I would hate that. I've actually been buying books from other people lately. That's something that's been a thing with me. A lot of my first edition Pathfinder books I got from other people. In fact, I got two. I got the Bestiary and the Inner Sea guide for Pathfinder first edition from my friend Dominic Martin, who's been around on Twitter quite a bit. Gotta go. Great chat. Have a great day. See you, White Rat. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for hopping in. But giving away books, I don't know that I ever would. I think if it's something I could easily replace, I probably would. There are like two books I would just never give away under any circumstances unless I were dead and I were leaving them to somebody. Cowpunchers Reloaded, because I edited that. Wretched Darkness, because I did some additional writing on that for the Pi Montero mechanic. Wretched Darkness 2, I don't have in physical yet. let's face it, the Red Rooms books have been they've been getting thicker and they've been getting a little more expensive. I understand. They've been rapidly releasing so much that I'm like, I'll just subscribe to the website and get the PDFs. I'll do that. So there's that. Not a fan of 3.5 Pathfinder, but I adored Glorarion until I retconned it in Pathfinder 2nd for reasons. Okay, yeah, about that. I own several Pathfinder first edition books, but when Paizo seems to have gotten a little too big for their britches. I'm just going to say it. With Castles and Crusades, I own more than several of their books, and I got more on the way. They should be here Monday, I think. I'll have to look. Let me have a peek. Let's see if there's been any update on that shipping. Okay, so it's on the way. ETA is Monday. So Monday, that should be here. I think it's Codex Sonarum and Book of Names, I think. Rated Troll Lords and Noble Knight games this past week for good stuff. Yep. I've got a lot. I'm talking a lot of stuff. In fact, my go-to fantasy games from here on out are going to be Castles and Crusades and Wasted Lands. And the reason I say it's those two is because each one does something kind of unique. Castles and Crusades it's just one I love. I can't, and having these Pathfinder books is great. I've looked at them, I've read them, not all of them, but definitely that core book I went through, and they're cool. But I'm not feeling that connection. I might have to play it to get that. But with Castles and Crusades, just reading that PDF of the Player's Handbook, that free one, I got about maybe a third of the way through it before I pulled the trigger on the Castle Keepers bundle. And once I started getting into those, I immediately fell in love. See, I get CNC now, and I think I mentioned to you that I got it because of their Codex Myth series. Yes. That Codex Myth series is excellent. It's absolutely wonderful. It's one I would recommend because you get to do so much with it. It's like what would happen if Gods and Legends were expanded upon and One Page Rules just dropped their welcome pack and some new stuff. That's cool. Got some Plague Demons, Blessed Sisters, 44 bases and 15 game aids, tokens, ruler, the works. That's cool. Okay. They just shared that with me. Excellent. One Page Rules, basically Warhammer 40K with the serial numbers filed off, I guess, if you want to call it that. But oh, this sucks. At Cloud Hub, we've always prioritized providing. I just came across this. I'll share this. Might not be streaming to Cloud Hub anymore. But you know what? Here's the thing. I just found out Rumble has done their live streaming thing, which I'm very, very happy about. Share the screen. This is my channel on Cloud Hub. As you can see, we have a live stream here that's going on. And look at that, 186 views, almost 200 views there. It's cool. At Cloud Hub, we've always provided prioritized providing a robust experience to our valued users. As our platform continues to grow and evolve, we recognize the need to implement changes to ensure sustainability and maintain the quality of our services. Starting February 12th of this year, we will be introducing a nominal fee of $1 for each upload and storing of content that is larger than 2 gigabytes. You will also have the option to subscribe for $2.99 a month and get unlimited file size uploads and 100 gigabytes of total storage. This decision enables us to invest in a robust infrastructure guaranteeing a seamless user experience and uninterrupted access to your content. We understand the importance of accessibility of your content, and this step allows us to continue offering secure, private, reliable storage solutions for your content. Join us in this journey toward making Cloud Hub a stronger platform for all users to enjoy. Don't know. Come on. I do this channel because it costs me nothing to do it. It really doesn't. Save for the subscription to StreamYard here, which if Rumble works, I won't be using because this will do all the stuff that Rumble does. We may not be able to upload our live streams to Cloud Hub anymore with that news. There's great news that we needed for the day. So, still be doing YouTube, still be doing Twitter. Probably going to move that third stream to Rumble, though. Because I know these file sizes, they do go over 2 gigs. I mean, I can just shrink this down for a moment. Hi, Angelique. Hope you're watching. But let's see. Properties here and find out. Yep. Just the one we did with Diversity and Dragons was almost 3 gigs. Let's try this one. 2.63 gigs. Yep. And one Saturday morning chill stream, which was almost 5 gigs by itself. Chilling Like Villains, we did that one. That was another one. It's funny how anytime I put a villainous title up, I end up doing it alone. Kind of telling. 2.5 gigs. There we go. So probably not going to be able to stream to Cloud Hub anymore because because of the file size, and they want me to spend $1 every time I upload. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but money's getting a little tight, so I got to do this wherever I can do it for free, unfortunately. And Mercurius, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. All right, so sad news. This will probably be the last time we stream live to Cloud Hub. Probably the last time you'll see these Saturday morning streams pop up too. It'll probably just be Tarot there. Hey, Georgia, what's going on? So, hey, better late than never. You got plenty of time. So far, let me recap. We've covered the Medium article, which was this one. I'm going to let me shut this down real quick. And we actually did cover this one. The harassment in D&D, we covered that one, which I wrote 2 articles on because there's another one. I really want to go back to that for just a moment. Oh yeah. Oh, if you haven't read this, it's something else. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. Grim Jim really did a good job in covering this, I think. But yeah, I wrote here on the Raven's Nest. This is largely why I'm doing a lot more writing than I am video production, because quite honestly, it costs me nothing to write and then post and then send it to you, and you can read it at your leisure. But there was also one other article that I wrote, and this was more me kind of just going over this. The Tale of Two Pendulums, which I want to bring up now. And this was the all the recent stuff. I I can't believe I got to shut that screen down and then go to this one. But I got to do it. So here we go. So we can talk about two pendulums here. The one in this image and this one. With this one, and I'll just give you the TLDR version. With this one, this is existential dread because that thing's sharp and it's coming to just literally slice you in half and you're immobilized. You can't do a thing about it. That's absolute terror. And yeah, that article was vile. Well, okay, you got to understand. Here's the thing, Starlight, you got to understand what Dr. Weissman did was shine a light on the cockroaches. And here's the thing, they're not crying foul, saying, no, we never did that. No, that's not us. Here's what actually happened. They're not doing that. They're not refuting those claims. What they're doing is crying foul that they got caught and how they got caught. But they got caught. And this is the kind of thing they were doing to people, like Zach Smith and others. Yeah, I did too. I'm thankful it's still out there. I'm thankful it's archived. But let's get back to this. So this is what they wanted to do to us. I really hope that at some point, here's the thing. I don't care if they wreck each other. I don't give a shit. I really don't. That they want to devour each other over resources and just for fun, fine, whatever. I don't care. What I don't want is for them to harass innocent people who have done nothing wrong, because they're vying for resources, or they want to do it for fun. The ones that are doing it for fun, above all, those are the people I despise. Little moral crusaders, moral entrepreneurs, they basically don't have any morals. Yeah, they need to go. But the other pendulum is this one right here. This tiger eye pendulum that you're seeing on my altar here. This is the one that I'm going to warn people about, because we need to keep an eye on this pendulum. And here's what's going on. A pendulum like that, due to the laws of nature, it swings to an extreme and then it swings to the other. And it keeps going until eventually gravity makes it stop at its 0 point. We've seen it swing so far out that way to that extreme end that it's going to start coming back. Now, we have a choice. Do we stop it at its 0 point and say, okay, no more of this shit? Or do we let it swing in the opposite direction? We let the Vargs of the world take over. And we just get more of the same with a different fucking t-shirt on. And of everything that I've said on this show so far, I'm hoping that we're able to actually get that point across. Because pendulums swing. It's what they do. It's a function of it's the purpose of their function. Okay. Do they track the gilded link opens too? Like if you open from the app, I hope it does, or I'll have to start dedicating a separate tab to open it. Just want to make sure you get proper metrics. I'll be honest with you. I don't give a shit about metrics. This is how I operate. I will make a video. Let's just say I do a tarot reading, right? And then I'll do Rune of the Week, the Havamal series, and I'm going to be getting back into that very soon. It probably won't be for the next couple of weeks or so, because the work schedule, I don't know who's making it anymore. And for a little while, they have me on Wednesdays and Saturdays, which is what I normally was. And then they'll shift me to Fridays and Saturdays, which I don't know. Okay. All I know is I'm off this Wednesday, and then I'm working Thursday, then I'm off Friday and Saturday. I don't know how this is going to go. Okay, so I'm trying. It's going to be the regular posting of like tarot and all that. It's going to be a little wonky for a while until we can get that straight. It used to be very steady, and I was able to schedule around that. Now it's so out there, I don't know what's going on. Also, kind of why I'm looking around. I am looking around just to see what's out there. But when I make a video, I post it and then I walk away because it's not my living, and I'm not wringing my hands over metrics because I'm not trying to be employed by a platform, which is essentially what has gone on. I know that there are people out there making a great living doing these videos. I would rather have some kind of relationship with this small audience I have. I'm looking for people that want to take their power back. That's it. This is how we do it. And we're going to be the bad guys for it. And I'm okay with that. You know, I've embraced it. I've accepted it. But I don't really chase metrics because I learned from working in retail, managing a business. When you start to chase metrics, and the company will sit there and move the goalposts on you, and you have no idea what's going on. Let me tell you something. One of the businesses I used to run, I was actually managing a business. Let me tell you something. Despite making money hand over fist, never saw a single bonus. And they had this weird, like, I don't know how the hell they calculated bonuses. We didn't know how they calculated the bonuses, but I knew one thing: we were never getting them. No matter how much we made in a month, we were never getting those bonuses. Now, I've heard of people maxing out their bonuses, getting bonuses every month. Never got them. I don't know what happened. In fact, an interesting story, the manager for whom I took over at one business, he was like, if we get this bonus, I'm buying nachos. There was an authentic Mexican restaurant right across the street from us. We loved that place. That place was had amazing food, cash only. So we would constantly go there for lunch. Then one day he's like trying to figure out where the hell the bonus went, because by his calculations, he should have gotten it. He didn't. And he was like, I don't understand how they're, I don't understand how the math ain't math. And that was nacho money. And I said, I think that was kind of the point. And it took him a minute to get it. And he was like, oh man, yeah. Okay. So I really don't, if you're here and you're commenting, I'm good. I don't care where you're doing it from. So, but just know, I thank you for joining us. First thing to understand, her paper was not a valid academic work. Grossly biased, bigoted, and disparaging. She wasted 4 years of her life on bad research and methods. But she did expose them. She exposed the cockroaches and the rats for who they are. I wouldn't dismiss it because, like I said, what made me sad is I used to buy a lot of White Wolf back in the day. I saw some names there. You know what, Star? I'm going to say this. I had a couple Vampire the Masquerade books. I had a few Mage of the Ascension books, and I had a lot of Wraith books, and I lost all of them in my move. I would love to have all those back because I think the Wraith books especially were my favorites, and nobody wanted to play that one with me, which was really weird. It was a way to bring back your dead characters, and nobody wanted to do that. Okay. Morning, Brian. How are you? I'm conflicted, and here's why. When I was young, I was a live and let live person. Defend your free speech to defend mine, but some don't defend free speech when they get into a position of power. Okay. We need to talk about that. I think this is a great point that needs to be made. So let me kill the screen here for a second. This is a great point. I just watched a video a couple of nights ago. Marilyn Manson has an album finished. A couple people were invited to a listening party. One was not able to go. He asked, hey, how is it? And the people who attended said this is probably going to be his best one yet. Now, I'm going to say something. Whether or not you like Marilyn Manson is beside the point. Whether or not you like him as a person, completely beside the point. I'm going to say this. I think that trying to forcibly Me Too Marilyn Manson was the dumbest fucking thing on the planet. I mean, has no one ever listened to a single album he's ever done? This guy loves to drag society over the dumb shit it does. Back in the 90s, it was trash TV, it was, you know, corporate glamour and all that shit. He ripped the fuck out of society for the beauty standards. He did it all. He was doing, in fact, his albums were a critique of the status quo, and he added a lot of that iconography for shock value. He criticized parenting, he criticized society, he criticized what was on TV, and this shit just gave him all the ammo he has ever needed or wanted to do it again. And let me tell you something. The last time I saw him, where he was in court for a misdemeanor where he spat on a videographer and the camera during a live show. It's the only conviction he's ever had in his life. Let that sink in. He looked better than he did a couple of years ago. And a couple of years ago, he was drinking pretty heavily. He was drugging pretty heavily too. He's just celebrated 2 years sober. I can't wait. When this album drops, I'm buying a copy. And I haven't bought a copy of a Marilyn Manson album since The High End of Low. I haven't bought a copy since. Okay. But, thank you. Thank you. I do agree. That's a very long discussion. Okay. Long march to education. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. And their efforts are failing. However, I want to say this. While we should be a little re-energized from this, and I think we've hit like a Sawillo moment. I really do. I think we've hit that lightning bolt where we should be energized again. I think the takeaway from that is these people did horrible things to some people of questionable quality. But hey, when you get in bed with people, what's the old saying? When you lie with dogs, expect to wake up with fleas. You know, man who go to bed with itchy butthole wind up with smelly finger, as Confucius would say. Metrics don't have to conform to mainstream standards either. Make them your own. I encourage that. I fully embrace that. 100-bit Hollywood math. True. The behavior displayed by those in this article is a clear demonstration of that. And that's what I'm saying. That's the takeaway from it. We really do need to be completely aware that these people, you know, pardon me for going into my Alex Jones bit, these people are scum. They deserve to be shut out. Yeah. There we go. My Alex Jones impression, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go with Marilyn Manson. Let's go back to him for just a second. They've given him all the ammo he needs. I think it was a dumb move. I can't wait to see it, because like this dude's going to be like a really dark phoenix rising from the ashes. And this guy was the darling of free speech back in the late 90s. All these Christian conservative groups wanted to shut him down. They protested, they picketed, they did everything they could. They blamed him for Columbine, and what was that 2000 that happened? I think it was a little sooner than that, because it seemed like that happened when I was just out of high school, and I was like, dodge that stupidity. Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it's nuts. This guy was the darling of free speech. He was celebrated by the younger generation of that time. As well, if we're going to have free speech, the free speech is going to be stuff with which you disagree as well. Uh, oh gosh, man, hitting the F key for your for your books. Let's see. I recognize Cam Banks' name. I've got a few Codex books, I guess. Cortex books. Okay. I remember we were told urban legends about removing his bottom rib and damaging his own eye. I'm like, that's a contact, dude. So he could kiss himself, so to speak. Yeah. The Shadow Crown birth is out there to be made into a tabletop RPG. I think it should host a new game table rule set. Dungeons and Dragons with Dukes. You know what, Josh, your Shadow Crown books. I think I have plenty of existing stuff that yes, that's homebrewable into a tabletop RPG setting. And one of the ideas that I had, because I looked at Mifrog and I was like, this could be done so much better. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys. So I showed this to Marcus. I got caught up to Marcus. I was absolutely trying to get. I was trying to get a. I was trying to get a game of Four Against the Great Old Ones, Part 2 for today, but I can't get in touch with Manny now. So that's where the sticking point was. So I just kind of threw this all together. But that's the reason I created this. This is the world map I am still working on. It's still very flat, still very one-dimensional. But Marcus and I were talking about this, and that's where this would be set. Now, the thing about this particular world is this would not be our world. This would be in parallel to our world. So sort of like the Dark Tower, where Roland's world was in parallel with ours, and they had thinnies where you could walk through back and forth between the worlds. When you tie on the gloves and duke it out. Kevin from the one he was he was Josh from the Wonder Years. He was Kevin's friend. Josh Saviano, that was the actor. Sorry. Yeah, supposedly Josh Saviano had grown up to become Marilyn Manson. It's not true. Love Alex. He's batshit crazy and fun to watch, like Monty Python on steroids. Yes, get on with it. Dungeon Delver does a great Alex shows. I have heard it and I love it. Mid-90s. Okay, mid-90s for Marilyn Manson. Glad to see Marilyn Manson has not gone the route of Rage Against the Machine. We all kind of knew what Rage Against the Machine was. We all kind of knew. Maybe late 90s, 99. Okay. Howard Stern was also a free speech advocate. Yep. He's same thing. The Dukes of Hazzard Barony. Alex Jones used to be comedy. Now he's prescient. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when Rage Against the Machine used to rap about freedom of speech and thought, and now they show for tyranny. Yeah. Awesome. I think a lot of that is Tom Morello's doing. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of it is. Dukes of Hazzard Barony. Oh. Uncle Jesse over there. What happens when you give one of the dukes? What happens when you give a Jarl Viagra? Well, he gets taller. I'm trying to picture what would they be like bootlegging ale, in a dry kingdom. That would be kind of interesting. But yeah, this world map I'm showing you, it does. There is a world in mind. I designed this to be, part of that. So this would be sort of not the world itself, but the main focus. And I'm still working on it. I'm still kind of fucking with it. But I think if we were to use like Castles and Crusades, because it's a very simple game to play, with like Codex Nordica, Codex Germania, Gods and Legends, set it in modern day with like modern necessities or something like that, or Simple modernity, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm kind of waiting for uh I'm kind of waiting for Vic to do like a modern book, one of his modern series for Castles and Crusades. I think it would be amazing if he did. He's done one called Blacklight for Shadow Dark. Um, he's done Simple Modernity. That's for the OSR, so that'll go with like any OSR game you have. He's doing one called Ammo Box, which would be one for original D&D, and he's done Modern Necessities for Old School Essentials, and the actually I could use the Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear and just convert using the 7-page conversion guide. They told Tom Morello, "You now rage for the machine or get me to." That I would not doubt that in the least. Kind of looks like Scanza torn in the center and Britain flipped upside down, shoved way up north. Cool though, thank you. I'll probably try it. Don't tell Vic that. I always kid him that I hate him. Yeah, this is just one of those things. I think it could work. I think the Shadow Crown book could work, and I think it provides a great setting. Um, Now, naturally, I think your main characters are probably going to be NPCs because everybody's going to want to play something different. One of the things I came up with just in my head and in my notes was an ancestry mechanic where it really wasn't a mechanic. It was going to be this thing where you could, once you reach a certain level, you could actually kind of tap into certain parts of your ancestry and get those memories back. And when you got those memories back, that would be the way you kind of upgrade your character a little bit, upgrade a skill, upgrade a connection, or find something out. There was going to be a lot of like psychic stuff in there. I just wasn't sure how to implement it yet. When I found Codex Nordica and Codex Germania, I was like, oh, y'all done beat me to the punch. And I was not mad I'm not mad at Troll Lord Games. They beat me to it. I was like, this is just way better. I think they did exactly what I wanted to do. They did it a little better. I was happy with it. I bought it. I wasn't mad at it. But the Codex Sinarum's coming, which is ancient China. So really looking forward to kind of cracking that book open. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I think Castles and Crusades. That's my go-to. The modern books by Victor Gorchev, which he is co-hosting with John the Basic Expert on Monday nights at 10 p.m. my time, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. I think those books that he wrote are really good. He obviously knows a lot about guns, and you got it too. Is yours coming or is it already in? Because I'm curious. I'm curious to know. Codex Sinarum was a pretty easy back. Also backed Codex Exaltum and Codex Infernum. For the coming year, I don't really see myself backing too many more Kickstarters. I really want to kind of taper off of that. I think I got a library, y'all. I got a library. It's bigger than my last one ever was. So, thank goodness for the internet. I might just be buying a lot of PDFs, but my PDF collection right now is massive. I only go for print. I did the other two they did. Yeah. I would go for print, but like I said, tiny apartment, not a lot of space. I'm like having to search for places to put things now. My comic collection has also gotten a bit bigger. It's like, like if you take a milk crate, it's basically filled that. I only have space on the side for comics right now. And I can't wait for Yaira and Gooding and Bloodruth from the Rippaverse. I think those comics are great. That Conan the Barbarian trade paperback, I want to get a copy of that. Dan Panosian does one cover. Mike Mignola does another. I might go for the Mike Mignola cover because I'm a little bit of a fan of his work. So CNC Gygax Reaper. Yeah, I did back the Hermit. I backed that one. I did get the Castle Zagig book, the Ixberg setting. Is the next one for Finnish myths? I don't know. I think the next Codex book they're going to do, I think the next Codex book they were going to do was Codex of the Plains or something like that. I saw the cover and I was like, you got to give me a break. I can't keep up. So I may, like I said, I'm probably not going to back any a whole lot of Kickstarters. I'm going to have to be super selective. I know 13 Parsecs is one that I do want to back. I know the new Modern Necessities is one I do want to back, but that's because they're going to be kind of inexpensive. Too large. I don't know about too large. It is kind of a thick book, but it's not that bad. I didn't think so. I got it. I had to have it. You know, anything Gygax worked on, I do like. So I do kind of keep it that way. But I am in the last like 9 minutes of this bad boy, so I'm gonna go ahead and wind down. I got some stuff to do today. Mouth is dry. Haven't even had tea yet. I got the kettle on. I just never poured a cup. Got some comics I want to read today. I want to relax, that sort of thing. In all likelihood, I probably won't be doing a tarot video. I'm probably going to try to do one maybe like Sunday night. Maybe. That way I can release it for Monday morning and get something out there for you guys because, quite honestly, I really want to do videos again. I just haven't been able to. That's all. Garden time before the all-day storm starting tonight. All right, Cal. Yeah, we've had some pretty cruddy, overcast, rainy weather here and there last few days. That snow didn't last very long, thank goodness. Got tired of slipping on ice. By the way, if you live in my immediate area, shovel your damn sidewalks. And, make sure you're salting those things too. Because some of us have to walk on those, and I'm tired of sliding down half of it. Jeez. It's crazy. I can tell you this much, that the night we got that last snow, I went outside, I listened to the Desert Moon of Karth soundtrack, and I actually had fun because the snow was light. I was able to, scrape up a lot of ice. Just kind of dig a space out for the car and get it all off the car. That way, if I did have to drive it, it wouldn't blow back on somebody. Ew, that's not good. Not something. 0 out of 10 stars. Do not recommend at all. But anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that fuck, I don't know, I forgot. Fuck it. I still think the article that exposes these people is good for that. I really think we need to understand that. And I think that's the part that needs to be held up. I think anytime these people come at us, I think we should be telling them to go to hell, fuck off. As Mr. Musk would say, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. And of course, this right here from the U.S. store, which the warehouse will be shutting down. Big sale plus buy one, get one. So if you buy $100 worth of books, you're actually getting $200 worth of books. I recommend getting whatever you can while you can. And I'm thinking Terror in the Streets might be one I grab. And then here's another one, Winnie the Shit, World of the Lost, The Yellow Book of Breckenwald. I might actually grab that one. It looks like Harry Potter set in the Lamentations universe, which is going to be, really dark and edgy. Well, how dark and edgy? Well, let me look at the cover to Forgive Us. I mean, that's pretty, pretty dark. So I would actually recommend getting yourself some books. And if you're not into Lamentations of the Flame Princess, now is a really good time to get into it. And there's never been a better time than now. So grab some books if you can. Let's show James a little love. I am going to be experimenting a little bit with Rumble Studio just to see if maybe we can do Rumble instead of Cloud Hub due to the. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a cheap bastard here, but it's money's tight everywhere, right? Things are just the prices on everything's going up. So, got to do what I got to do in the meantime. But you can still catch us on YouTube. You can still catch us on Twitter. So there's that. Open us up in your favorite app and get down to it. And if you'd like to come on the show with us, that's all good too. And we'll chat about whatever. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, winding down this last few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, just remember, play what you love what you play. Because at the end of the day, these people in that article, all they wanted to do was make you and me and everyone as miserable as they were. And the problem with tabletop RPGs is that it's hard to do. It's difficult to do. If I see a movie that lets me down, I'm going to be like, man, that was shit. If I hear something that let me down, man, that was shit. I read a book that let me down, man, that was shit. Don't bother with that. With this, I'm like, well, I don't need that game. I don't need D&D. I don't need this. I don't need that. I can make my own. I've got enough of an arsenal of books at my disposal. I can just make my own. But the thing that you have to remember is that these people, they stepped into this hobby. They stepped into tabletop RPGs and wargaming, the hobby, thinking they were going to just completely change it. And we were just magically going to fall in line or get out. No. They stepped into an arena with problem solvers and people who've been making their own for decades. They stepped into a quagmire. Now they're losing. Now they suddenly want to cry foul. No, absolutely not. We do not let them forget what they tried to take from us. One of two things is going to happen. They're going to get shoved out. They're going to eat themselves to death. Or they're just going to pack up and leave because they'll see it's pointless. They'll see that there's nothing they can do. And the companies that own the major IPs are going to start going down, left, right, and center. And it still won't kill the hobby. Welcome to Vietnam, assholes. Welcome to your Vietnam, your Afghanistan. You had no support because you couldn't even support each other. You're not the good guys. And if we're the bad guys because we didn't support you, I'm good with that. Say hello to the bad guys. And with that, I'm going to close out. Finally, just remember, guys, I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always do what lights you up. And no matter what you play or how you play it, just remember, do yourselves a favor. Don't give in to the misery. Play on. See ya.